Good morning, everybody. I have viewed your voiceover PowerPoints on your YouTube link and provided feedback to you in Blackboard. You guys did a great job with this assignment. I think the complexity of assignment like this, where you're asked to take a close look at a specific topic in one part of your assignment, and then take what you learn in part one, apply it to part two, and then grow it into something different, and then use the magic of voiceover PowerPoint and then upload it into YouTube. Lots of moving pieces and parts. So if you felt stretched by this assignment, that's a good thing. My hope is that you were using some different tools in technology and using different methods of critical thinking to really apply what you know about a problem and to look at innovative solutions. We know, and many of you talked about the ANA scope and standards, that an expectation for an effective nurse leader is to become a change agent, to always be looking at process improvements, finding ways to improve patient outcomes. And the first way an effective nurse leader does that is to go to the literature and look at what evidence-based practice looks like. And sometimes the literature is what we find through researchers. Sometimes the literature is available on our regulatory sites. Sometimes it's in news media, sometimes it's in books. Sometimes the information we get are from our quality experts within our organization. Whatever the method, and hopefully an effective nurse leader would use multiple methods to gather data, you're going to gather that information and critically appraise, what does this look like? What's the reality of my current problem? How are we right now dealing with it? And are we dealing with it effectively? Do we see incremental improvements in our quality outcomes? And if not, if we aren't where we need to be and we're not heading in the right direction, what do we need to substantially change the direction we're going through innovation and evidence-based practice to further improve the outcomes for our patients? So this is just a quick opportunity, a little snapshot of what you, if you're in a leadership position, my prayer is that you're already doing this. And if you're not in a leadership position, that you should anticipate using a similar methodology when you look to make process improvements and to get buy-in from your team. So lots of really good stuff here. Many of you covered falls, and it was interesting to see the different perspectives of what falls look like in each of the variety of settings that you work with. Your classmate Steven wins the Kudo Award for having the best audio voice out there. I jokingly told him that he needed to do my weekly voiceovers. There's something about a very crisp cadence that's captivating, and many of you guys did that. And I appreciate your efforts in working towards not just getting it done, but making it aesthetic, making it interesting. Some things I want to remind you in your next opportunity, it won't be in this class, but in future opportunities, when you look at doing PowerPoint presentations, and this would be true in your own practice, your slides should have in-text citations. Personally, if a single slide is covered by a single author and concept, I just put the in-text citation at the bottom right in a smaller font so it's not bold and out there. If you have a slide that has, let's say, 4 bullet points, and only 2 of those bullet points you have a reference that relates to it, then you'll go right behind those bullet points, put your parentheses, your in-text citation where it's appropriate. I'm going to encourage you to substantiate slides that are in PowerPoint sets, especially content slides. Transition slides like, titles, you're not going to need, but substantial slides should all have some kind of scholarly reference. Think about an APA format paper, a good paper that's properly supported. APA recommends a citation per paragraph. So much of what we do is reflective in nature. I think that's excessive, but you should have a citation per page, sometimes multiple depending on the content. So just like your PowerPoint slide, just like your papers, your PowerPoint slides should have the in-text citations on each of those slides. I'm going to continue to encourage you to bolster your ideas and your work and engage your audience by using appropriate graphics, tables, formatting, font, things that are aesthetically pleasing. You can be the most brilliant scientist, the most brilliant researcher, and if your PowerPoint does not engage your audience that you're presenting it to, your ideas aren't conveyed effectively. I'm married to a scientist who became a lawyer, so I don't know how you could glue 2 less interesting, more dry topics together on Earth. And I've seen some of the posters that go to these scientific research conferences that my husband goes to, and I'm amazed at how painfully dry they are. Fortunately for us, we are nurse researchers and we're not heavily based in organic sciences, so we are expected to use a little bit of pizzazz to engage our audience. We want our people to listen to us. We want the people that are watching to be engaged, and we do that through how we enhance the aesthetics and bolster our content in our PowerPoints. So, do you want to remind you to do that? Next week, you've got your practicum log number 2. Go back into log number 1, make sure if there were any recommendations, especially time logs, that those things were corrected before you start with log 2. Apply the recommendations from log 1 into log 2 so that you see improvement in your outcome. Your narrative assignment, your reflective exercise, is heavily reflective. The idea is to get behind and understand O'Brien's idea in the sub-themes of servant leadership. She writes about listening with the heart, crossing over, the wounded healer, and embracing a higher purpose. Those 4 sub-themes you're asked to apply an exemplar to and give details in how that exemplar represents those sub-themes. Some people want to use a single exemplar and attach all 4 sub-themes to it. I'm okay with that. If you want to do an exemplar per sub-theme, that's okay too. Whichever way you do it, you want to be very clear in how the evidence of O'Brien's sub-themes are demonstrated for the individual who is your client or your patient in the circumstance, but also yourself. This is really taking some time to look at, if I do this level of servant leadership, how does this impact my patient? How does this impact me? And you want to be able to cover those substantially. So just think about your exemplars and make sure they're meaningful to address the assignment. This is an assignment that lends itself to lots of level headings. Level 1 and level 2 headings from an APA standpoint are a must. Level 3, depending on how you break up your sub-themes, is a possibility, but at least level 1 and level 2 need to be embedded in here. So I'm going to encourage you to continue to polish and improve your APA formatting. Know that I'm here. If you've gotten feedback from your quality part 2 and you have concerns or you have questions you want to discuss, happy to do so. Just touch base and we'll set up a time to chat. Remember, general questions, the where do I go, how do I find, what do I do with, those kinds of things, put those on the Ask the Professor link. Anything specific to you, your circumstances, your grade, or personal, feel free to email me. I'm happy to chat either way. We are in week 6, which means you only have 3 weeks left of academic work, and then hopefully because there aren't other practicum courses, you guys are going to take a break and enjoy a couple weeks off before you catch up and wrap things up for the fall semester. So my hope is that you are well, that you are prayerful, and that you know that I'm here and that you reach out as appropriate. Y'all have a great rest of the week.